Hey, we're going to talk about how the domain works. Also, these things that you should know. If you own a business, about 99 or 98% of businesses have a URL, some sort of URL attached to it. Most likely, that's going to be also a domain. So when I say URL, it could be like some businesses have just like a Facebook page, but that's not very common. Most businesses also have a domain. And if you're a business owner, you're gonna wanna take advantage and take care and manage your domain. So one, nobody else has that control. And number two, you are able to own that domain forever. And so we'll just start by going over how a domain is used, how it works. Let me take a look here. Okay, so your domain. This domain is going to have a home. And so you're going to buy your domain from someone like Bluehost, GoDaddy, HostGator. All those providers will sell you a domain anywhere between like $15 and $18.99 or something. Depends. Sometimes you can also buy domains from somebody that's selling a domain, but that's a different story. But so you buy that domain, and now you own the domain if it's available. This domain is managed in order for you to use it. It's managed by the registrar. The registrar is either Bluehost, GoDaddy, one of those that I named. They sell you the domain, and then they also give you a set of tools that allows you to manage that domain. And your domain consists of different parts. I don't have to go through each part, but your domain, we'll just call this the DNS. And the DNS, it controls different parts of your domain. So let's say one part here is web hosting. And then there is another part, email. We'll just talk about these two main ones. So you have your web hosting and your email. And you now have control where you want these parts to go. Typically, the registrar also offers an additional service. We'll call these, the first one, tools to manage domain. So we have the tools to manage the domain, which are typically free. And then we have hosting service. So, and this is optional. You can choose to host your domain, website, and emails within this hosting. So the hosting would consist of like web, email. There are some other tools, but for the main ones, it's web and email. It's very simple. It's basically what they offer you is space for you to store your files, right? So you have a place where now you can upload files, and that's where you upload like your website files and the code for your website to be displayed on a URL, which serves the files to the user. And then there are also email records. So right here, this part here, we can choose to use Bluehost as our email provider. So they will host at an additional cost. They can host our emails. They can also host our website. We can also choose to go outside of Bluehost for either or the web or email hosting, either parts here. So we'll create one part for web and then one part for email. This is web. And this is email. So you have the control to send both away from Bluehost. Remember, Bluehost still has your domain in their environment that they're managing your domain. So they will always stay as your registrar to manage that domain. The service for the hosting is completely separate. They just make it easy since your domain's in there. All these records are already pointed to their hosting. So, but again, we don't have to use their hosting. In this case here, right now, the way that your setup is that you are being sent the website DNS is being, this part for the website is being sent to Webflow, and they house your web files. They do not handle email unless it's an email coming from the website directly, like a form that somebody fills. But they don't handle your emails. Currently, your setup is the Bluehost is the registrar of your domain, and then we have the DNS set to Webflow. So when somebody visits the URL, they get sent to Webflow, and that's what appears on your screen is your website, which the files and everything are there. We do not utilize the files and the web hosting for Bluehost. The emails are in here. We are using a Bluehost emails, and this is called Webmail. It's a very simple way and a free way to host your emails. And basically these emails, you can create an unlimited amount of accounts, and you can manage the emails and everything here, and it is free. So as a business grows and becomes requires additional security or just advanced email management, and then also being able to not be like spam foldered, and any other advantages that you're going to get by using like a different email provider. So like someone that's more a professional email provider, and that could be something that that is an option, is to host your emails with Gmail. If you use Google Tools, then I would recommend doing Gmail. If you have like not Dropbox, but like folders in Google Docs that you have shared, Google Excel sheets, and all those are going to be important, because if you have a bunch of documents, then you might as well just stick with Gmail, and then instead of using like personal accounts. It's also really easy for you to log in, because you just go to Gmail, you log into that account. Setting it up on your phone, your devices is very simple, because there's an option that you can choose that you're using Gmail. So that's an option. There's also Outlook with Microsoft 365. I do like that option probably more especially if you don't use Google Tools. Then Outlook is going to be a great option for you, because they are a little bit less expensive. You still get all of the security and the firewall services that they provide. So your emails aren't going to ever hit spam. Where if you're using webmail like we are right now, this is a little more sketchy for email receivers. That a lot of times they go into spam, or they're just not recognized the same as one of these guys. So there are others, and you can go with really any other third party that is well known. I do think these are the top. These are the top two, and then all we would need to do is just change the DNS setting from going to the webmail into going to the Outlook 365 or the Gmail. Once you set up an account here and you say, oh, I want to do a business email, they will ask you for all the information for your email, for you to change the DNS record, the zone records for your MX records. And it's pretty simple. You might have to do some migration as far as, probably not have to do any migration. I don't think you need to bring any emails over that you may had before, but what you would do is just create the email boxes, all the email boxes you have in Outlook, in Gmail. Again, once you have purchased and set it up, and then emails will start to go in now into Outlook, and then you would have your employees and anybody else that is pulling in an email, you'd have them reset and configure it to like an Outlook or a Gmail. And logging in online is pretty easy. You can go to Office 365 and log in, or in this case here, as we explained before, you can go to Gmail. That is basically the way that it works for the web and the email. And yes, so we can go really quick. We could do like a recap. We have you purchase your domain, so you can purchase it from either Bluehost, GoDaddy, HostGator. It's purchased. They offer the tools to manage your domain. Typically, that's free. The domain is about, like I mentioned, let's just say $18.99 per month, or sorry, per year. And that's all you need to do is renew that. So they manage your domain, and then they give you tools to manage that. They house your domain. And then they also offer hosting services, your registrar. And so there's a web and an email. You can host both your website or your email. Those services are available. Currently, right now, we do not utilize the web, but we used to initially. The second iteration of the website went to Webflow, so the DNS is pointed over to Webflow, and that's where your files are. You also have a login there. So if you want to edit the website, do anything to the website, you're going to do it here on Webflow. If you have email issues, it's going to be the emails are currently pointed and being hosted through webmail, and that is in the Bluehost tools. And they have is what you call a cPanel, and these are additional tools that help you manage your web and your email. Again, you don't have your web hosted there, so you don't need to worry about that, but you do have your email. So all your email files are in there. The DNS records for your domain are, the web is pointed to Webflow again. The email is in Webmail. And then you do have the option for hosting the email in a more professional email like Gmail, Outlook, and other third parties. Anyway, so that's how the domain works. You want to always have be the owner of this registrar, this domain, this account. You want to be the owner of that. And then you want to be the one that updates those DNS records, whether you call your domain provider and then they help you do it, or you just go in there and do it yourself. But you want to have the control, and you don't want to give anybody access to the control of your DNS, because one, they can transfer your domain. Two, they can point your domain elsewhere and then create problems for you. So you want to have control of that and understand where your domain is being used, and that's going to help you with your business and be able to just fully understand what this all means, and then forever, until as long as you own this domain, you'll always have it within your under your control, and that's how you want to do it. So if you own a business, you want to have control of that domain, just like you have like your business files or have your name on it and all that. So like, you don't want anybody else to have that domain and have control over the registration of it. Now it's okay if you're pointing the domain to Webflow and then you give access to a developer to log in to Webflow. That is a different type of access. That is a different type of access. That is, you're just letting them access your website files for them to update your website. And again, see how then you now keep them separate from The registration point piece, they need to have nothing to do with that. If you want something to work on your website or marketing or whatever, they just do it through here. And you give them access as like a user, as a developer user, probably limited access to Webflow, just so they don't break your site, or you just want to make sure you double check before you ever give any access. And they never need to have access to the domain, the registrar piece. And then as far as emails, if you're hosting it then with Gmail or Outlook, then you would go to them if you have any issues. Again, setting up on your phone devices are all pretty easy if you're doing Gmail, Outlook. Currently, you do have your emails in webmail under Bluehost, and that is being done for free.